Who do you think are the two funniest men in Tampa Bay radio? Well, if you ask that question to folks who live here, a lot of them would say...
And now, it's the Johnny B. Show on 102.5 The Bone.
I'm sorry, Will. She does teenagers and kids.
God damn it! I've shoved a lot of big old brown ding-dongs in my mouth in my day. It's a joke.
John Bell. As you know, I call him John Bell. People call him John Bell. Sort of a cool name.
I don't sleep well. I have been separated.
Who says anything?
Black lady.
You are my little Willie Bean.
Yeah, welcome. It is the Johnny B Show online, where we hop on the internet and do a radio program when we are being preempted on our FM radio dial, because the Tampa Bay Lightning are facing off tonight against the Buffalo Sabres, tied 2-2 after the first period. With me and running everything from the knobs and buttons and levers at the Husky Hut studio in St. Pete is Big Will Coons.
Hey, Johnny, how you doing, man?
I'm good.
This is some sort of, I don't know, some sort of replacement for the Johnny B Show. It feels weird, doesn't it?
It does, man. But with us being off air a lot this month, I felt like this is a good time for us to do what we've been talking about doing and jump on some more live streams so that people can actually, join us and enjoy a little bit of content. If they want to take a little bit more effort to click on a couple of things and get to us on the Johnny B Show Facebook page or willsyoutube.com on the YouTube channel there. And we'll be posting these up later to watch on your YouTube channel and on the Johnny B Show YouTube channel, which is Johnny B TV. So, this is just us, instead of sitting around and doing nothing during this time, which is what we've been doing. You've been putting up some short videos and things like that, but we can go live. We can interact in the chats. We're going to bring in, some guests here and there, including tonight, Evan Winter from A to Z Sports, talking about that debacle of a football game yesterday in Cleveland. Terrible. So, we got to get our wits about us and get kind of acclimated to this format. And you never know, this might become something, seamless and fun, and we can do a lot with it,
I hope so. I've been trying to do the videos on days that we're off, and boy, are we off the air a lot in the coming weeks. You got the holiday. I was looking at the schedule today, and then I'm leaving town for like 10 days during Christmas, and I know you'll be on your honeymoon anyways. But boy, oh boy, the month of December is pretty much going to be lacking the Johnny B Show on the bone. So that's good that we're doing some of this stuff to kind of supplement. So people don't forget about us,
Yeah, absolutely. And, maybe even, looking ahead, or if there's nights where we'll be out of town when the Lightning are playing, maybe we could pre-record some, or maybe throw in one of the replays and just have it set up, one of the streams we've already done, so that people could hop on the Johnny B Show on Facebook and Instagram and all that, and still be able to go, you know what? The Lightning are playing. I love the Lightning. I don't mind, I'll watch them on mute or I'll listen to them, but maybe during the intermissions, I want to listen or watch the Johnny B Show with Johnny B and Will, so people are reaching out, people miss the show. So if we could give it to them, it's nice.
It is nice. The prestige of technology and how far it's come has really allowed for good things to happen, and terrible things for that matter. But, we want to focus on the good things, which is we still get to talk to people, even though we're not on the radio. A lot of people are taking advantage of that. Ian's doing that. Ian's all over the internet now. I mean, he always kind of was, anyways. But this is just the name of the game, man. So we're gonna persevere, keep pushing, and you know, it's good to talk to you in some form on a weekday night at 8 o'clock.
Yeah, I mean, I would have just been, messing around. I mean, probably in the metaverse. I mean, that's what we should do. We should find a way. I mean, because what we're doing right here, this isn't even like up to date technology. People have been doing this for years, like just running a stream and putting it on YouTube. I mean, we're still far behind. We need to get to, like, really with the times. Let's do the Johnny B show in the metaverse.
I'm scared. That place is demonic. I don't
I
like it.
love it.
I know. I'm sure it's fun. I'm sure hell is fun as well, but I don't want to go there. You know what I mean?
Sure.
I'm sure after 10,000 years, you get used to hell, and then it's not so bad anymore. And it might even be fun. But
I don't want to brag, Will, but yesterday I did play in the first stop of the Metaverse Poker Tour. I played in 2 events yesterday. Saturday I played in the main event and I got knocked out. But then I played in 2 $5 million buy-in multi-table Metaverse Tour events. One at 6 o'clock, and then the other one was at midnight. And I'm not trying to brag, but I got on the final table of both of them. Will.
Oh, well,
Yeah,
how much
and I made $75 million.
What do you do with the money? I don't understand. It's not real money. You can't do anything.
It's only Poker Stars money, but I mean, you can't sell it. But if you were to buy those chips in order to play, because you know how apps and stuff you have to pay to get things, right? So I didn't pay for these things, but had I paid for them, 75 million in chips is almost $1,000 is what you would pay in the Meta store to get that many chips. And I just won them outright by beating all these people all over the world. And look, I know it sounds dorky and nerdy, but it's fun. And who doesn't, we play games for fun. You know what I mean? That's why you play. And I had a good time with it. And now I have so many chips. Oh my God. I'm a multi-millionaire on this game now. It is a blast. I like it.
So you just have a bank and it says that you have this amount of points or dollars or whatever you want to call them. And then you can't spend it in any way, or can you spend it?
I mean, you could spend it within that realm. You know what I mean? There's a full casino. There's all kinds of things you could hook up your avatar and make it. My avatar is pretty decked out, but yeah, I mean, it's all within the meta. But like I said, it's fun. It's there's a clout thing also. The higher rank you get and the more money and the more things you have, it's kind of cool. It's very nerdy, but it's harmless. It's fun. And, the metaverse is becoming a better place, man. The real world sucks. They're protesting in China. There's people fighting each other over silly politics here in the United States, and just senseless murder and disease and everything happening around here. Then you go on the meta. I mean, besides a little bit of, casual rape in the horizon, everything else is fine. It's pretty good.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Well, I hope you enjoy that. Enjoy your new fake world. That's a lot more fun. I'm going to stay here in the crappy world just in case. I don't want to get sucked in, but maybe eventually we can figure out how to do a show in the metaverse. I'm not convinced that it's going to catch on.
You need to check out VR porn, if anything at all. I mean, you just gotta. I mean,
I don't want to know.
You gotta check it out. Just say it.
Certain things about myself that I don't want to know. I would like. I'm sure it's great, but it's not real. I know that 2D stuff isn't real, but at least it's 2 dimensions. Once you get 3 dimensions involved, your brain can't comprehend what's happening.
You can't go back. You can't go back to 2D. You just can't. I don't even know how I could go back to what I did as a kid, like Kmart panty ads, or maybe every now and then I would get lucky and find one of my dad's dirty magazines, hidden underneath a bunch of stuff, and then I was a whole new world. All that is nothing now. Nothing.
It's funny that you bring that up, because it's crazy how far the rabbit hole you can tumble down when it comes to degeneracy online. And I mean, there's just filth online. I mean,
I know.
really discussing things that when you close your laptop, you give yourself the heebie-jeebies. Like, I can't believe I watched that and enjoyed it for that period of time. And of course, there's the aftermath where you are just discussing with yourself for watching that. And I've noticed with me that it kind of it goes full circle because you're looking up really dark stuff online for porn, and then all of a sudden I'll just come back around to I just want to see a girl flash her boobies. Like, that's what you wanted when you were like a teenager.
Pretty innocent.
Wanted to see boobies. And then
Yeah.
sometimes it loops back around, but then I reset and it goes back into the dark depths of what's possible online. But I've been trying to do my best to kind of, because it's not good for I don't think pornography is good. I don't want it banned, but I don't think it's good for men either.
Jesus, Captain Religion, what are we doing here? And it's the best. What are you talking about? Porn is the best.
Yeah, it is, but I think it also has there's trade-offs, right? So there's a lot of good that comes with it, but there's also bad things. I think you'd be less likely to try to find. I think a lot of young men, anyways, are probably not as apt to go find a lady and do what guys do with ladies, because they could just go into the metaverse and put on the stupid glasses, and then
Right.
they're the hottest chick ever in 3 dimensions. So
Yes, and think about you're thinking about the negatives there. Think about the plus, right? Right?
I know the plus.
Population control, right? We don't need to make more babies, okay? There's too many, all right?
That's not
and
true.
and if you're not out there making them, then you don't have the abortion debate, whether you should keep them or kill them, right? So that's gone, right? I don't even know if there's abortion in the meta, but I think you just log off. I think that's what you do, or you delete the baby is what you do. Delete,
Yeah.
Control Alt delete the baby. Also it would avoid like crimes, sexual crimes. What if there's a bunch of weirdos out there and they want to go in the real world, and commit some sex crimes? It just, they relieve themselves on porn, and then they don't have to go out and do it.
I mean, those are positive things, but there's also negatives. I mean, you would agree with that, right?
I mean, if you abuse it, but you can abuse anything that's great, like alcohol or food or drugs or anything. You just got to know how to use it in moderation.
Okay. I think that's fair, but a lot of people don't.
Of course, but a lot of people don't do a lot of things.
I'm not calling for banning anything. I'm just saying that, I just try to use it in moderation. That's all.
Me too. I don't look, I've only checked it out a handful of times. Handful. See what I did? I'm not on there. I'm not on there right now,
Good. I would hope not. You don't want to get Jeffrey Toobin on HMB radio and get kicked off.
What am I, a weirdo? Not gonna do that.
Oh.
By the way, hop in the chat. Shout out Alyssa. She's all up in there. Richard Witt, Zachariah. Oh, I like that. That's a great name. And hey, Brian, he said, I'll abuse Johnny B and Will OnlyFans. We need to start one for real.
I mean, it's getting close, Johnny B. I'm not gonna lie.
Control Alt delete the meta baby. There's a t-shirt for you. We'll have to make that. I keep wanting to call out the phone numbers for the station, but we're not on the station right now. It's embedded in me to kind of reset, give the numbers, and then get back into the conversation, or steer us into the next part of the show. Like it's Mondays. Are we doing Monday Night Meltdowns? I know we got Evan Winter in 15 minutes from A to Z Sports. We have the big story of the day. We have everything. And you know what we don't have to do? Go to commercial. We don't have to go to commercial.
We don't. Not online. Not yet. If I
know
commercials, that would be cool. I mean, I'm not opposed to doing it, but right now, no need to worry. No commercials.
It would be nice if we had to,
It would be for sure. Hey, I want to say thank you, because Friday I went over to your house after Thanksgiving, and I had a lovely time with you and Leah and the dead girl and her man friend, and your son and his lady and his sister, which I didn't even meet these people. And Whitmore was there. Oh my gosh, I forgot about that. It was a full house, and just a good time had all around. So one of the things that did hurt my feelings, I had a great birthday. It was on Friday, and only thing that hurt my feelings was the Bone did not put up an Instagram post So I made I hacked one. I used Galvin's and just
No, you didn't. Ah,
put it on my story. Yeah. So the Bone did not do it. The Bone did put up a happy thanks. I kind of was giving whoever does that some slack because I know it's the weekend, it's a holiday weekend. Some people are back at work on Friday. I don't know who's back at the radio station on Friday. So I wanted to give them some slack, but I checked it out. They had not only a Thanksgiving post, but on Friday they had posts for the next big thing, which is on another the sister station of the Bone. So they managed to go out of their way to do that to promote another station, but went ahead and skipped my birthday post. Dizzy got one. I might know this year. I'm not saying anything, but I feel like as far as the totem pole, I might be a little higher than Dizzy at this point, being a co-host of a show that's I was going to say 5 days a week, not so much anymore.
I mean, you're 80% better than everybody. Everybody knows this. Do we know who handles the posting of the birthdays and all that? Like the actual person? Because maybe that person doesn't like you.
I don't know, really, to tell you the truth. I would think that if it's any sort of graphics related or video or anything, that Rush is the guy for that. And I think Rush likes me.
He hates your guts, dude.
But I did get in a fight with John Brennan like weeks ago. I thought we were cool too, but maybe he's still mad at me. I don't know.
I wouldn't know.
He doesn't seem like a guy to hold a grudge, but you never know.
Everybody loved the Wicked Oak turkey and ham. The ham got annihilated. The turkey was phenomenal. Shout out to Carlos in the chat. He went and got himself a Wicked Oak turkey, and he made turkey chili soup with the leftovers. That sounds pretty good, actually. Yeah. I got leftover turkey in the fridge, but I haven't touched it because I am cleansing myself of the Thanksgiving 2 days of debauchery. I've been very, very good since Friday. I'm talking I've had very limited food, mostly protein shakes and a ton of water every day, just clearing the system out because I got, as of last week, 9 pounds to lose and before the wedding. So I have not hopped on the scale, but I know I felt on Saturday like I gained about 5 pounds on Thursday and Friday. So cleanse. That's all I'm doing, man. Oh, Whitmore made a turkey pot pie with the leftovers that he took from my house. There you go. He's up in the chat. Yeah, dude, I sent almost all the food with everybody. Like whatever everybody didn't take, and this hurt my heart so much, Will. I threw away an entire pan of stuffing, of my stuffing.
Which was excellent, by the way.
Thank you. I made 2 pans. I made too much. So I sent one, like whatever was left in the first pan, I sent home with you and Zane and Whitmore and whoever I can give food to, right? Just take it. And after all that, there was still a little bit of potatoes, a little bit of, a whole pan of stuffing, and half of a upside down pumpkin cake. I threw all of it away because I knew if I put it in the fridge, trying not to be wasteful, it would be tempting to eat it. And I could not do that. So I took leftover turkey and some leftover ham and I put it in some Ziploc bags. It's in my refrigerator. I haven't even opened them, but I'm glad everybody got to take a ton of food home, which made me happy in my heart. It took, by midnight, we had everything cleaned up and we're right into the swing of moving forward into Christmas time, just hanging out with the gnomes and all the decorations. And successful Thanksgiving. It was great. Loved it.
Yeah, it was a good time. I kind of did the same thing. I didn't want to tell you, but I did eat the leftovers that I took on Saturday morning because I was very hungover from celebrations on Friday night. And but I didn't. The dessert went in the garbage today. I did eat the cookies. There was 2 chocolate chip bacon cookies in there, and I did eat those today. But the pumpkin cake stuff, I ended up just throwing in the garbage. I got to do the same thing. I felt sick yesterday. It was just too much richness, too much good thing as far as food went this week. I went to Bascom's Chop House on Saturday night, and I was just like, I think my body was just like, you need to eat an avocado. Just eat an avocado today and don't do anything. I went to a Friendsgiving yesterday. I couldn't even eat. I had Pepto-Bismol with me. I'm officially old man status now when it comes to food. I just can't do it anymore for that long. So I'm back to, I had a nice salad and a lean pork chop for dinner tonight. So I'm back on it too for a couple days, and then I'm leaving, on Friday to go to Key West for a long weekend, and then it's just going to be booze and food.
Yeah.
Again. So I'm just going to be, and then it's your wedding the following week, and then it's Christmas, and then it's New Year. So it's just going to be little increments where I can hopefully, find some sort of peace and avocados and lettuce and just eat that during those times so I can prepare my body for just beating it down for the next few weeks until the new year.
Yeah, I just got to get this last little bit of weight off, and then boom, I hit my goal. Since I hit the 100-pound goal, then it's gloves off until after the honeymoon. Like, I'm not going to go nuts. I'm still going to make good decisions for the most part, but I'm not going to be, as regimens as I am. Like right now, I'm military type of regimen. Like the last 2.5, 3 days, I've eaten cauliflower rice, shrimp, or eggs is all I've had. Protein shakes and water, black coffee. That's it. And I haven't, like I said, I haven't hopped on a scale, but I feel as light, if not lighter, than before Thanksgiving. So I think I'm on the right track. We'll find out. We're on the air Wednesday, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so weigh-in Wednesday will happen Wednesday. We'll see what the aftermath of Thanksgiving did to me, and if I was able to lose the turkey weight and move forward and have a chance at making my goal in 13 days. 13 days, and we have a bachelor party, that we have to also tend to with I'm guessing there'll be alcohol and food involved there,
I would think so.
Yeah. So I know we're going to the Monday night game next week to watch our Buccaneers play the Saints, our first place Buccaneers, baby.
Ain't that something? Still, somehow they're still first place. The Falcons managed to lose yesterday. I don't know how they figured out a way to lose, but they did. So did the Bucks. It's a really sad state of affairs going on today. I know we got Evan in a few minutes. We'll talk with him about that.
Absolutely.
But yeah, absolutely just pathetic. You thought that things were turning around. It really looked like after that game in Germany that the Bucks were back, and all they got to do is do what they were doing, and they just freaking blew it. 17 points. Against a good Browns defense. I will say that's the only saving grace for the Browns, but the Browns ran the ball over 100 yards and just took it to the Buccaneers. And that I wasn't even mad at that catch that Njoku.
Njoku.
Yeah, it was sad. I was like, I figured this was going to happen. I just, with the Bucks luck, but man, what a grab. I wasn't even mad at it. It was a good catch, good play.
I actually yelled out, "Are you joking me right now?" That's what I yelled out.
Yeah.
Not happy. Yeah, I'm at the point of apathy, and we'll talk about this in a few minutes with Evan, but I'm doing my job as a fan. I think a lot of us are, I'm buying the gear. I'm hanging my flag behind me, as you can see. I got my Mike Allstott signed football, played, on field football right behind me underneath one of my many Best of the Bay awards. I have my Derek Brooks signed helmet above that. I'm doing my job as a fan. I've spent a lot of money on gear, on swag. My heart belongs to them. That's not going to go anywhere, right? But I'm not going to get upset anymore after yesterday because like I said, apathy has set in because of this coaching staff. And we'll talk about it with Evan. I can't make them coach correctly, but the world can see how badly they are. And we'll talk about it with Evan. Evan's a professional sports beat writer. You can respect his opinion. I'm just a comedian and a radio personality that's a big fan. So maybe you don't want to hear what I have to say, but Evan puts a lot of research and a lot of work into, writing for A to Z Sports, and he's written for a lot of big columns and websites. So he knows what he's talking about. And we'll have him on and get his whole take on yesterday and what's going to happen with the Bucks moving forward. Hey, shout out Paul Dudley's up in the Heezy for Easy too. Look at him. The chat is blowing up right now. I like it. Michael Francis. Zach is blowing stuff up. He said liquor and whores for Johnny's bachelor party. Get it, JB. Look, I don't know about the whores. Okay. All right. I don't. That's a little cliche.
if I'm going to be a part of this, I want to say too, and I say yes to horse. How about that?
All right. Well, then we might as well just have drugs
Yeah.
and midgets and whatever we can do.
I know. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. I mean, if this is your last, hurrah as a free man, as
Yeah.
an unwed human being. I mean, I think you gotta go hard this last one.
It's true. Got to Whitmore just replied, done.
Nice.
Okay.
It'll be fun.
I like it. He's actually renting a very fancy vehicle to drive me around in the weekend of the wedding too. So that's gonna be nice. Yeah. He says he's gonna make all the calls. He's in the chat right now. For you folks in the chat, you'll see Eric Whitmore. That is my best friend and best man for the wedding. So if he says something's getting done, it's getting done. That's just how it is.
I believe him.
Yeah.
He's a man of his word for sure. So I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a good time. Obviously, I think we were all riding higher, a few weeks ago after the Bucks got the win in Germany, going against the Saints at home. We're going to the game, going to the Calta tailgate.
Yeah.
It's gonna be awesome. Now I feel like it's took the wind out of everybody's sails, but I see Evan is here, John. He's a few minutes early, but I'm ready for him if you are.
Before we hop to him, I'll just quickly reply to what you just said about taking a win. I kind of felt like that during the game yesterday, and I even texted Whitmore, and I was like, "Wow, this is really gonna poo-poo on the bachelor party." And Whitmore's like, "Yeah, we could just eat the tickets and we'll do something else." And I was like, "No, wait a second. No, we're still gonna have a good time. Like, I'm being a little bitch right now because my team's losing, but the bachelor party ain't about whether the Bucks are even good. I used to be a season ticket holder when Mike Glennon was the quarterback and Josh Freeman was a quarterback and Jameis Winston was a quarterback. It's about me and my boys going out and having a good time. And I told Whitmore, even if we're just heckling Jameis while he's standing on the sideline and getting drunk, that would still be a great time. So no, we're gonna have a good time at the Bucks game. And you never know. Maybe we'll win the game with Josh Wells playing right tackle. Probably not, but maybe. Who knows?
What happened?
All right, let's bring Evan Winter into the stream. Hey, Evan, what's up, buddy?
What's up, guys? Hey, I'm in the presence of greatness with the employee of the month over here in my top left, right, whatever the corner that is. So I appreciate y'all having me on tonight and allowing me to grace myself with your presence.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Cool little home studio there. It's good for the listeners to be able to see you, and it's good for you to finally see our ugly mug so you can see what you've been talking to this whole time. It's very scary, and I apologize for that.
I mean, it's obviously reciprocated on my end, so I think we're all in this together at the end of the day. We've got the faces for radio. What can we say?
Amen. Well, the fact that we're smiling at all after yesterday's game really just it's a testament to our fortitude and our character, all three of us, because what we saw was what looked like, was going to be a fairly easy Bucks win after they went up 17-0. I'm texting with people going, I'll feel a lot better when they're up 14 or 21. I wasn't I wasn't happy with the 7-point lead, but I wasn't really scared. And then, of course, as the Bucks like to do lately, the wheels came off. And they ended up finding a way to lose this game. It really felt that way. What the hell happened, Evan?
I mean, it was the classic Tampa Bay Buccaneers team that we've seen. Let's see, we saw them for 10 games before this game. It was the same team we saw 8 out of the last 10 games. Outside of the Seahawks and outside of the Cowboys, it was just this classic shooting yourself in the foot with bad penalties, bad execution, bad play calling, and then at the end of the game, just horrible clock mismanagement or horrible clock management, whatever verbiage you want to use, it works out either way. And it just shows in Tom Brady's press conference, post-game press conference, and Todd Bowles' post-game press conference, and in today's press conference with Todd Bowles, they keep talking about getting on the same page. Dude, it's week 12 by now. We're going to week 13. This is a team that, yes, it has some different parts these days, but it has been overall the same roster, the same chemistry, all of that stuff for the last 3 seasons, 2021, and 2022. So the fact that all of a sudden just these guys have no idea what to expect from one another or are misreading plays. Bowles talked about it today, how Mike Evans and Tom Brady are off because they just aren't seeing things the same way. I don't understand it. It makes absolutely no sense. This breakdown is just something that I think is a team that is the byproduct of, I can't say it any other way, but a shell of itself from what we've seen over the last 2 years, because there's no direct leadership, even though Tom Brady's on this roster, and there's nobody there holding people accountable right now, and it shows up in the results. I mean, whenever you're bypassing calling timeouts in the last minute and 15 seconds that could have completely altered the way you approach the final minute and a half, whenever you're just mailing it in and your players are okay with that, something's wrong, man. Something's missing. And it's just at this point, it's a broken record, and I don't think you can fix it. I mean, we had hope after the Seahawks game, but obviously the Seahawks game showed that was just an outlier, sorry, for all the English majors out there. Outside of the Cowboys game and the Seahawks game, we know what this team is by now, and it's average at best with a very thin margin for error.
I mean, it's easy to just blame the coaches, if you're a fan of any team, but these are really, really striking, these mistakes that we're catching over and over again. And it comes down to, like yesterday, the real glaring obvious one was the time management. Yes. And everybody could see it. And even somebody that plays Madden knows that you got to call a timeout or two when the other team is driving down to score and tie the game, and you want to leave your offense time on the other side of the ball, then when it got down to the 32 seconds, you still said Tom Brady can score in 32 seconds. He can get him down 40 yards and get in field goal range in 32 seconds with 3 timeouts. We just got to use these timeouts. Maybe don't call a screen on the first play. Maybe get the ball down the field, maybe over the middle for 8 to 10 yards. Call the timeout. Go into no huddle. Get the ball going. Let Tom Brady be Tom Brady. The play calling, when he said, today, after we only gained 1 yard, we were ready to go to the half because we didn't want to risk throwing an interception, which I read today, and I'm trying to remember. I'm not sure who posted the stat, but Tom Brady has not thrown an interception in a tie game in the last 2 minutes or an overtime game in over a decade. Yeah. So by saying that, you're kind of spitting in the face of Tom Brady. And if I was Tom Brady, I would be really upset when he said that. And if we had any shot of bringing him back for another year, I think that quote alone by Todd Bowles probably ruined it for the Bucs to have Tom Brady next year, because that's the opposite of risk it for the biscuit. That is cowardly football. That is no trust in the greatest quarterback to ever play the game. We're not talking about Jameis Winston and worried about an interception. We're not talking about Kirk Cousins. We're not even talking about, Aaron Rodgers. We're talking about Tom Brady. The guy don't throw interceptions in clutch time. He just doesn't. It doesn't happen. And for you to say we didn't use our timeouts because we were going to trust our defense and go to overtime. I mean,
Johnny, I actually got the stat up right here. Rick Stroud put it up earlier today.
Okay, thank you.
420 pass attempts, 2 interceptions. That's a 0.04 interception percentage for his career.
Okay.
Tom Brady was literally about to set the record, the NFL all-time record for most pass attempts without an interception against the Seahawks before he threw that one interception. I mean, Tom Brady's not throwing interceptions this year. And yes, it is the fact that, look, Todd Bowles is an even-keeled guy. And when you're a leader, that can come in handy. But in this day and age, and just football in general, you need somebody who can tip the scales from time to time, who is going to go for the jugular, who's going to go no risk it, no biscuit, and who's not going to give a damn if it doesn't work. And Todd Bowles, and I love the guy. He exemplifies what I think in a hard worker, a great person. everything of that magnitude, but he does not have that tenacious, I'm going to shove my foot down your throat and make you and for some reason if I miss and I break my leg, whatever, at least I tried. He doesn't have that. And that was exemplified over the last minute and 15 seconds of this game. At worst, they could have called, it was 4th and 12, the David Njoku's touchdown. It was 4th and 12 from the 13.
Yeah.
Dude, they've got to score on this play.
Call
so
timeout.
Call timeout. Yeah. Exactly. 5 seconds elapsed from the time Njoku caught the catch. And by the time the Buccaneers took the first snap on their final drive of regulation. So that means at 1:09, when that play started, if you call a timeout, you would have given Tom Brady the ball back with 1:04 and 2 timeouts to go and get the game-winning field goal.
You also get your best defense on the field for that one play. Exactly. Your absolute best defense, the package you need that will stop any 10-yard play you put on the field during that timeout, and you save time for Tom Brady. What you just said, everything made sense to do that. I coached 12-year-olds, and I know to do that. Like, it's unbelievable. And I don't know if it's arrogance or if it's just a disconnect when it comes to coaching under pressure, the coaching staff you have, because we've seen several times during this season where they should have thrown a red flag to replay something, and they just didn't. And then later on, they'll go, oh, well, we did the analytics and then it probably wasn't going to. No, something tells me you're not connected with the people in the booth. You're not connected with the other coaches. You say you are, but it's not really showing it. Like, where are the other coaches going, hey, we need to call timeout here on defense? I mean, he's got one of the biggest coaching staffs in football, if not the biggest. Where were they? Where were they at?
Why doesn't Tom Brady just call a timeout there?
Because he was told not to, I'm guessing.
I mean, it's one of those things where, like this coaching staff has been so united and they've been so loyal to each other, and so has their roster in terms of players taking less money or sticking around. I mean, Tom Brady, look at it, even though he's made a ton of money in cash, I think he's like the top 3 or 4 quarterbacks in terms of cash money. In terms of cap hit, it hasn't been as bad. But regardless, you've seen a lot of these players, alter how they do business in terms of their contracts, whatever. And I don't know, it's just created this kind of this bond that's good, but at the same time, it's to a fault to where they aren't holding each other accountable. And when you hear Tom Brady get up there after the first loss, after 2 weeks and then 3 weeks if you count the bye week, but either way, and the first thing that comes out of his mouth is we didn't score enough points. It's just like, we are back here at this point.
Every week it's like,
yeah, nobody has answers. And it's because, again, they're okay with riding out the wave as long as Tom is there. The problem is Tom isn't going to be there next year. He's not going to be there. So just being lackadaisical and allowing just things to happen around you instead of making things form to you, they're missing out on so much opportunity right now. And it's depressing to watch, honestly, at the end of the day.
Yeah, it is. And I was telling Will before we brought you on that I've done this so many times in my life as a fan of this team, to where I've gotten to the point now after week 12 that I'm falling into this sense of apathy where it's like, I'm not going to get mad anymore. This is what the coaching staff is. Right. These are the issues that we're dealing with. I'm doing everything I can as a fan. I'm dedicated, but it's not healthy, and it's not good for my mental stability to scream at the TV, to holler for people's heads. They're not going to fire anybody during the season. It's just not what they do. So we just have to face it. Todd Bowles, he's not a head coach. He's a great defensive coach. He's proven now, after, what we've seen, that what happened with the Jets is probably what's going to happen with him if he's a head coach in the NFL. And it's nothing against his character. I like him as a person. I like everything about him. I like him as a defensive coordinator.
Yeah.
I love him. Yeah. But he just doesn't have what it takes to be a head coach. It's like if the NFL was the movie Roadhouse, right? Todd Bowles would be a great bouncer. He'd get in there, kick some ass, right? Just get out of my bar. But he's not the cooler. You need Dalton, and he's not Dalton. I'm sorry.
No, he's not. And nobody else on that coaching staff, maybe outside of Harold Goodwin, who when he subbed in against the Jets last year, outside of that fire, I haven't seen any kind of fire from any of these guys. And that's it feels like it's such like a cliche thing to say. And it feels like it's something that is more abstract and really doesn't have that much of effect on the game. But yeah, this team does not have that ass kicker who is going to light that fire underneath their butts and get them going like Bruce Arians did, who's not going to go for the jugular. But it just blows my mind to see them just crumble like this. You know what I'm saying? Like to see these guys, especially Mike Evans, like every post-game interview with him at this point is almost like a drama story, or just like a something that I would avoid on Lifetime, the Lifetime channel.
Yeah, sad.
Yeah, you hear this somberness in their voice and how they present, and where is this coming from? How did things change so quickly between the team that was bad execution and a bad play call away from beating the Rams, to what it is now?
I got two things that I think were big game changers. I mean, I think they're kind of obvious on the surface, but Tom Brady was very familiar with what he needed to do to succeed. He's done it for a long time. He had his offseason program. He was at training camp. He wasn't one of these guys that took off any training camps until this year. I think that's number one. Number two, and obviously I know he had his divorce and other personal things going on. And there's that famous quote now, I'm 45. I got a lot of S going on. Number two, I think the other thing is it starts in the trenches, offensive line, losing Ryan Jensen immediately. Now you also looks like you're going to lose Tristan Wirfs for 4 weeks at least, which is really the best case scenario. But I mean, it looked like he was going to be out for the rest of the year. But the offensive line hasn't played well, and Tom Brady hasn't played well because of that, because he doesn't trust this offensive line that's in front of him. And those are the two big things from kind of my point of view that I see. And I know they're really superficial, but I mean, sometimes that's what it is. I don't know.
No, that's totally what it is. But that's the wild thing is why is it affecting these guys, not as personally, but just as deeply as it is? They've been battle tested. You hear Devin White saying how Levante David always says, I'm not going to go back to the losing days. I'm not, I'm going to do whatever I can to get past that. A lot of them were a part of the losing days. I mean, up until 2020. I mean, there has been 27 regular wins coming into this season, or 24, sorry. And all of a sudden the Super Bowl makes you forget about the really bad days. But 2019 was not really a fun year for those who remember. And a lot of this team is still there from those days. So, when you hear stuff like that, but then you see them get shaken so badly, I don't know. It's just weird. I don't know. The whole dynamic is so wild to me, and it's fascinating. And maybe there'll be some kind of story book that comes out, or somebody bust the reasoning open, in a couple of years. But I don't know. This whole season has just been so strange. But the whole 2022 season in general has been strange too.
Yeah. It's gonna be fascinating to see what the ESPN documentary says when that gets done in a few years.
Yeah, the 30 for 30 is gonna be really interesting for sure.
Yeah. I mean, Josh over in the chat, he makes a good point. He said the offensive line hasn't been terrible given the circumstances, and I'll say even the Seattle game, they looked actually good. He says, Brady is the least sacked QB in the league. Yeah, coming into yesterday's game, and then yesterday he was under siege a lot more. The line looked a little shaky. Donovan Smith was kind of owned by Garrett. But Garrett's, he's one of the best in the league. For some reason, Byron didn't want to break a tight end over or chip him with the running back. I don't know why, but it's just, what are you going to do? But he says, 90% of QBs in the league will have to scramble out of, those sacks. I mean, those are good points. What did you see? What did you see? Okay, good.
Sorry, that's true, Josh. but also if you look at him, he gets rid of the ball immediately. He
Exactly.
doesn't.
Yeah.
He doesn't allow any time for
Right.
them to
And when he has
errant throws when he does that.
I think I saw Greg Allman post the stat after Seattle. He had like 0.8 more seconds per throw in the Seattle game, and even less than a second gives a guy like Brady can read a whole nother progression in that little bit of time and find a better option or throw a better pass to an open receiver that's in a zone, that's finding a spot open in a zone defense. So all of that stuff, is going to work out. What did you see, Evan, yesterday with the play calling? Because it looked like they started off, to me, it looked like they started off great in that first drive, and they went down, they tied the game. The running game was working, everything. It was looking like Seattle all over again. And then all of a sudden the wheels came off. What did you see from the play calling, and what happened in your opinion?
I mean, first off, way too many runs on first down. Todd Bowles, the team had 15 third down attempts. They had 16 first downs in the entire game. So when you have nearly as many third down attempts as first downs, that obviously signals a problem. And it goes back to the team's entire mindset. Todd Bowles keeps talking about how if you don't convert third downs, then you're not going to stay on the field. Okay, cool. Yes, that's logical. But hey, you can also get a first down on first down, and you can also get a first down on second down. You don't have to live for third down. And what happens when you live for third down is if you don't execute perfectly on third down, your drive is most likely over, especially when you're punting on 4th and 2 from the Cleveland 37. So it just, it's this whole, again, cycle of just questionable approach, questionable play calling, questionable decision making. But at the same time as well, if you're going to run the ball, and I know the Buccaneers are like, one of the last teams in terms of attempts, but in terms of first down rushing attempts, I guarantee you they're at the top. If you're going to run the ball on the one neutral down where the defense never knows really what you're going to do in terms of a 1st and 10, a 1st and 10 is always a 1st and 10 unless there's a penalty, and then that's a different situation. But in terms of a neutral situation, a 1st and 10 is always going to be a 1st and 10. You never know what second down's really going to be. You never really know what third down's going to be. But first down is always going to be 1st and 10. So that's the one down where the defense truly doesn't really know what you're going to do when you combine the fact that that's where the drive starts. So don't be so predictable. And if you're going to be so predictable, balance that out with play action. We saw in the Lions and Bills game over Thanksgiving, the Lions had like 15 rushing attempts for like 29 yards in the first half. They weren't running the ball, but they stuck with trying to run. They also had like 10 play action passes in the first half. So at least marry the two together to where if you're going to be stubborn about something, at least you're giving different looks. But the Buccaneers do not do that when they have 15 rushing attempts like the Lions do for 29 yards in the first half. They have like 3 play action passes. I charted it against this game against the Browns. They don't balance it out enough, and they're too stubborn, and they're not going to change because they play for third down. And in this day and age, it's playing to lose, man. It's that simple. So that's what I saw yesterday.
Yeah, play action is made for first down. That's when you do play action. I mean, it's not a third down play. I mean, it doesn't work as well. The play action is to draw the linebackers up and open up the field. It's what it's for. It's mind-boggling. It really is. I don't get it. The other big one we haven't talked about, and I want your opinion on this because I know what Bruce Arians would have done. I know for a fact. But I think even analytically, like if you're just going to go with the math, I think almost any coach, especially this younger breed coming up, these geniuses that are popping up, the McDaniels and Stefanski's, and not Stefan. I'm trying to think of the young cat in Philadelphia.
I was thinking Kevin McConnell up in Minnesota.
McConnell's another one.
Sirianni in Philadelphia.
Yeah, these guys in their 30s, they're using computer models and things, but they're also they're good at coaching and they're not scared. That that 4th and 2 at the 37-yard line. I just can't wrap my mind around it. You got Tom Brady, you got Chris Godwin, you got Julio Jones, you got Mike Evans, big targets. Oh, by the way, Kate Otten, who never got a target, which I don't know why they're putting Cam Brate out there. I'm sorry. I like Cam Brate, but the guy can't get open. He just can't. Kate Otten's getting open. So 4th and 2, 37-yard line. You can get out there and you get 2 scores ahead on these guys, and you take a stupid penalty and punt the ball away. I'll never forgive him for that. That is the most cowardly football that I've seen in a long time. Along with what they did with the time at the end of the game, it was unreal. What did you think of that?
It was absolutely awful. At least try. Ryan Succop's long this season is from 54 yards. Whenever you're attempting the field goal, you add 17 yards to whatever the current line of scrimmage is. So the fact they're at the 37 means it would have been a 54-yard attempt. He's 2 of 4 overall from attempts from 50 plus, which isn't really that bad in today's day and age, especially when you consider he's almost 40 years old, if not 40 years old. And he had knee surgery in 2019, blah, 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 all that stuff. Yeah, you attempt the field goal, you try it there. And if not, the punt from Camarda after the touchback was 20 yards, something like that. So what are you really risking at the end of the day? And one reason why Todd Bowles said that he was so comfortable with going to overtime was because of how well the defense was playing. Well, pretty sure you had that same amount of confidence at that point in the game. So you should have confidence that your defense is going to come up with the stop if you miss the field goal. Again,
yeah,
it's playing scared, man. They're playing scared, and when you play to lose, you win the top prize. That's what it is.
100%. And you can't play that. Like, I trust my defense, but I don't trust my offense. Because what is that? What are you sending? What message are you sending to the offense that I don't feel like you can get 2 yards there? Like, that's crazy. That's crazy to me.
Well, and it's not just that. It's playing to let the other team make a mistake instead of you putting the final nail in the coffin or you making the play. And the whole frustrating and ironic part is that they always say in these press conferences, we're not making the plays. The other, like Tom Brady said it, they made the plays, and which they did, the Browns did. But they also put themselves in those positions to make those plays. They allow it's so frustrating, man. And like when you see them deal with the press conference, like, Bowles did today, whenever you don't give direct answers or you at least don't give some kind of insight, that allows speculation. And when you allow speculation to start infesting and growing around the team, then that people start talking, and that's when narratives get started. That's when all this stuff, and that's when you get fired, man. I mean, that's how it works. So like the fact that him and Byron and everybody else aren't being as transparent as they should and just being like, hey, I should have called a timeout, or hey, this is what, instead of saying something as dumb as we were worried about an interception, even though we threw on the very next play. I mean, come on, man. You're just letting the story write itself instead of getting out in front of it. And when you have a roster that a lot of people still consider a Super Bowl contender, I mean, what are you doing? What are you doing at the end of the day? That's all it is.
I mean, and they have time still to get it together.
Yeah.
They're probably, I mean, even with Tristan Wirfs being out, and of course we haven't talked about that, most of the folks that I'm looking at, yesterday and last night in the media, including myself, we're blaming Todd Bowles for that injury too, because we should have never been in overtime for some idiot to try to jump over a 6-foot tall guy and land on Tristan Wirfs' ankle. But even with that, we can still win this division because of how bad it is. And if they can get it together, let's say Wirfs comes back, maybe Jensen comes back, we start tightening up, they can make a run. I mean, a lot like the Giants that beat the undefeated Brady Patriots. I think they went into the playoffs at 9-7 or 8-8, I believe, that year, wild card. So they barely squeaked in and ended up winning the Super Bowl. They could still get it together, but right now it's not looking good. Like they got big games coming up. I mean, do you see them beating the 49ers in 2 weeks or beating the Bengals in 3 weeks? I mean, what are going to be some of these games? I mean, without Tristan Wirfs and with the offense, playing cowardly style football. What do you think the chances? Because I mean, we're tied right now with Atlanta, and don't look now, but the Saints and the Panthers are only a game back.
Yeah, no, it's going to be rough going these next few weeks, especially with Wirfs out. Yes, it's good that he's only missing 3 to 4 weeks, but at the same time, an ankle, any kind of lower extremity injury on a big guy like that is never a good thing. It's never something you want to deal with. And when his type of play style, he relies on that quick movement, that lateral movement, the athleticism. So anything that's going to hold him back is really going to limit his game. And you got to wonder overall, how is that going to affect him? And it's probably going to affect him pretty hard. So even when he comes back, you got to wonder, how long is it going to take him to get to at least just 80% of Tristan that we know. But anyways, once these next few weeks, teams are going to target the hell out of Donovan Smith, because they're going to leave guys again one-on-one on Josh Wells. They're going to feel comfortable with that the majority of the time, and I do not blame them. And they're going to overload the left side, which also just happens to be Brady's blind side. You think Tom Brady's getting rid of the ball quickly now? Just wait until these next 2 weeks, whenever Marcus Davenport and Cam Jordan and Nick Bosa and whatever the other 49ers defensive end I can't think of the top of my head, whenever they're firing off against, Donovan Smith and just the rest of the Buccaneers offensive line. In terms of overall schedule, and when you juxtapose that with the Panthers and the Falcons and the Saints schedules, yeah, the team still has a chance to, lose these next 3 games, but win their last 3 games against the Cardinals, the Panthers, and the Falcons, or, the Cardinals, Falcons, Panthers, whatever order it is. But do you want to be that team at 8-9 going into the playoffs, knowing that you're probably going to get waxed? It's going to be a one and done. And do you want to be that team that's going to get that 18th, 19th pick? And God forbid you get to the NFC Championship and you lose in that game, and you have the 29th pick next year with $41 million over the cap in terms of your spending priorities. So there's just so much going on with this team in terms of the short term and the long term over these next few months. But in terms of just speaking of these next few opponents, it's going to be tough sledding. And I'm not going to be surprised. Tom Brady had the 3-game losing streak, which was the longest losing streak of his career. It's not going to surprise me if he ends up going 4 games in a row losing before heading into that Cardinals game over the last 3 games. It's not going to surprise me at all.
Ouch. Well, Evan, we appreciate you coming on with us, man. It's always awesome. And I like this version better. I like this a lot better. What do you think, Will?
I'm seeing y'all, man. Hey, anytime to more intimacy. I'm always down for that. Always.
More handsome than I thought, Evan. I'm not going to lie.
Well, hey, people in the chat are loving it. Yeah, absolutely. So, go make sure you're reading everything. I read your article today. It was awesome. You can go find his stuff at A to Z Sports, and find him online at Evan_winner A to Z.
Yes, sir. That's it.
There you go. Well, Evan, thanks a lot, buddy. I appreciate it. I don't want to keep you all night. And hopefully we'll get you back on sometime next week, maybe next Tuesday, right, Will?
I don't think so.
Okay, I don't know. I have no idea what our schedule is. It's really weird, but we'll let you know.
Either way, I'm always game.
Thanks, buddy. I appreciate it. Evan Winter, everybody. There he is. Love him. Screenshot him. There you go. That was cool.
Yeah, that was nice to see him for a change. I like this. This is the future. I know that's what we're trying to do with Bone TV, is kind of build out that video format too. But that was cool. We should do stuff like that more. Yeah,
bring in more people. We could bring in all kinds of fun folks.
We have the ability to bring in listeners and all that.
Do we want to do that?
Well, we can't take calls, but we could throw the link out there and have people in the waiting room. I don't know if you want to do that or not. It's up to you.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe we could do that. If you want to hop in there, we could throw them in the waiting room. I mean, that doesn't mean we have to bring them on. You know what I'm saying? You think people would want to see some of the listeners? Could you imagine Fritz trying to, blindly come into the chat or one of these Diane, she's just naked with her dogs, just being weird.
Hey, somebody I saw in the chat requested Diane. They said at 9:00, let's bring Diane in, which I would love.
Okay. I mean, that'd be fun.
Yeah, that would be good. That would be real good. I wanted to, and I feel weird bringing this up. I feel uncomfortable bringing it up, but it has to do with Todd Bowles. And, I thought Bruce Arians made a bigger deal of this. I don't know why I thought this, but do you remember him saying that he wanted to hand off the reins to a African-American coach?
Yeah.
Because he did, right?
Well, I don't know if he said that. I know he supports it as most people do, I just think he wanted to hand it off to one of his guys. Todd Bowles has been coaching for him forever. I mean, since the 90s, so that's just one of his proteges. Same thing with Byron Leftwich. So I don't know if I'm sure it matters to him that they're coaches of color, but Todd Bowles has made it very clear that he doesn't view himself that way. He views himself as a coach, and he views other black coaches as just coaches, just like white coaches, which I thought was very refreshing to see that. I remember he kind of shut Jenna Lane down, during the presser when she said, "Oh, but you have to admit."
Hold on, I have that audio actually.
Oh, please, yeah, play it.
There it is, right there. Share, and
I like Jenna Lane, but
yeah,
it needed to be done.
Mike Tomlin are two of the few black head coaches in the league. I wonder what your relationship is like with him and your thoughts on Steve Wilkes joining that fold.
I have a very good relationship with Tomlin. We don't look at what color we are when we coach against each other. We just know each other. I have a lot of very good white friends that coach in this league as well, and I don't think it's a big deal as far as us coaching against each other. I think it's normal. Wilkes got an opportunity to do a good job. Hopefully he does it. And we coach ball. We don't look at color.
But you also understand that representation matters too, right? And that when inspiring coaches or even football players, they see you guys, they see someone that looks like them, if you grew up like them, that has to mean something.
Well, when you say you see you guys and look like them and grow up like them, it means that we're oddballs to begin with. And I think the minute you guys stop making a big deal about it, everybody else will as well.
You and Mike Tomlin are two of the
Boom. I mean, did it not bother you a little bit that a white lady is telling this black man that he has to admit that representation? Who are you talking to?
You have to understand. Black.
Hey, white lady, are you telling this black guy what he needs to understand? Are you serious?
Yeah. I don't know. I thought that Bruce kind of made a bigger deal of it, but I went back. I didn't find any direct quotes about how he was kind of honored to hand it off to it's just his guy. That's
what I gathered from it. I mean, I know that he has made statements about other black assistant coaches not getting opportunity. And yeah, I mean, I agree. There are a lot of good black assistant coaches that haven't got opportunities to be head coaches. There's also a lot of good white assistant coaches that haven't gotten opportunities to be head coaches.
So Bruce Arians didn't make a big deal out of it, from the quotes that I saw, searching around while Evan was on. But the league certainly does. Media certainly does. So then it kind of gets put in your head. And then you get kind of like weird noticing these things. Like Todd Bowles was not good with the Jets. The Jets are a terrible football team. This was handed off to him with perfect timing. And part of the reason that Bruce stepped aside was that he had his succession plan. He wanted to hand it off to Todd. He had Tom Brady back. He had this, playoff ready team that was good to go, set him up for success.
Yeah.
Well, this team is not, they're 4-6 now, and they're not performing anywhere to expectations. And you have to kind of wonder, like I think it always stops with the head coach, right? That's where you got to go to. You got to
You go
start
to the top no matter what. If it doesn't matter if it's Burger King, if the food's coming out bad, you go to the manager. The manager is the top of the chain. And if they're like, well, I didn't do anything, well, then you make your people do it right. And that's the thing. When you got Tom Brady saying, yeah, we got this disconnect between me and Mike, and I don't know why, guess whose job it is to make sure that that connection is working? It's Todd Bowles' job. If he has to go into that quarterback room and go into that wide receiver room and go, hey, I need you guys to sit with me. We need to figure this out. I'm not saying that's how you do it. I'm not a head coach. I'm saying do something. What are the other coaches doing that are making sure that their quarterbacks are connecting with their wide receivers? You know, it's your job. At the end of the day, you're going to lose that job if those guys aren't connecting. So do your job. Figure it out. That's what a head coach does.
Yeah. And now they're going to have trouble because, like, would you fire Todd Bowles at the end of this season, depending on how it goes? I know right now they're still in playoff contention, but now you're going to have that stigma of, well, oh, you're going to fire the one of 6 black coaches in the league. Wow.
Got nothing to do with this race. I don't care if there's
it doesn't matter. Of course it doesn't. It has to do with performance, but people are going to say that Jenna Lane's going to go out there and say it's a travesty that he was let go. But at the end of the day, you have to perform.
Michael Francis makes a point on the chat. Jenna works for ESPN, so that's why she has to be that way. And I get that, you know what I mean? Because ESPN is, you know, they're very woke. They are, you know, and that's just what they do. It works for them. They're making money. That's what they're doing. So I respect what they do because they're a business, and that's what makes them money. I get it. I totally get it.
I just think, you know, boy, this really, everybody said Todd Bowles didn't get a fair shake with the Jets. Now you got Tom Brady. You got pretty much the same dang team that was going to go to the NFC Championship, probably go to the Super Bowl last year if Sean Murphy Bunting didn't fall down and Cooper Kupp just walked into the end zone there on that bomb, and may have repeated, you know, back-to-back Super Bowls potentially if that didn't happen. But they got one, and a lot of the same players on this team from that Super Bowl year. And he's just, I mean, it's just, that seems to be another big thing. Ryan Jensen, Tom Brady not showing up to training camp, taking that set time off, and then you got a new head coach. And it's like, at some point, something's got to change. You can't do anything about Ryan Jensen. You can't really do much about Tom Brady taking off. He's going to do what he's going to do. You know, if you want him here, you got to deal with that stuff. Well, the only other numerator here is Todd Bowles. And I just don't know if the Glazers are going to put up, you know, with missing the playoffs with Tom Brady. It's a bad look if Tom Brady's out of playoff contention as last year. It's going to be Joe Montana with the Chiefs. And even, I think he made the playoffs.
Yeah, they made the playoffs. Yes, I remember. Yeah, and that's the thing too. It's not just losing. It's losing to horrible teams. It's losing to Carolina when they lost to Carolina. It's losing to Pittsburgh when Pittsburgh was playing their worst football. You know, it's losing to the Browns yesterday when you had that game in hand, and all you had to do was make a few good choices in the second half, and you seal that game up. That's all you had to do. And it just, when you can't seal the deal against teams like that, then that's a problem. At least with, you know, even with the Jameis Bucks, you know, they would beat teams that they were supposed to beat, and then they would lose to their divisional rivals, and they would lose to good teams, you know, but it wasn't like getting beat 20-3 to Carolina, you know, getting stomped on by Pittsburgh, you know, and having to try to come back at the end. It's just, it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. And then it's the decision-making where you go, what the hell was that? Or how come they didn't challenge that? How come they didn't call a timeout here? It's like when it's very obvious, when you got people in the press almost debating you. Did you see or listen to today's press conference? You had Scott Reynolds from Pewter Report was going back and forth with them. Like he didn't just leave it at one question. He's like, well, what, you know, you didn't call a timeout. There 32 seconds left there. And he goes, yeah, you know, well, and he goes, yeah, well, you got a 26-yard pass right after that. If you would have had time left there. He was going back and forth with them, almost argumentative. I mean, could you imagine them doing that with Bruce Arians? No, because it wouldn't have to be done because Bruce Arians wouldn't be getting questioned like this.
Yeah, they are. I know that Todd said he's his own man. He's his own coach, and he's not a Bruce Arians clone. But dang, man, I mean, Bruce Arians knew how to get it done, and it doesn't appear that your style is working. And at a certain point, I think the Buccaneers organization has to. I mean, I think it's too late now. You got to ride out the season with them, especially with them being in playoff contention. But I don't know. Do you see them potentially going, this just isn't working out, and we're going to let you go?
Yeah, it's not going to happen during the season unless they lose like the next 4 in a row or something, and it looks like they're not going to make the playoffs. Then maybe they just can them right then. But I don't see it. The Glazers don't fire people in the middle of the season. They just don't do it. They even let Gruden play out the end of the season during that collapse in 2009, and they just don't do it. They don't fire people in the middle of the season. And look, maybe he turns it around. The thing that bothers me about yesterday too is they had 2 weeks. They had 2 weeks to prepare for the Browns. 2 weeks.
Yep.
And it's inexcusable. It really is. You're playing against a backup quarterback and I'm tired of that stigma too. The Bucs can't beat backup quarterbacks. Why? Just do it. Just don't be a coward. I felt like they were cowards yesterday. And think about this. All right. Before, he said they were scared to throw an interception in that final 32 seconds, which slap in the face to Tom Brady. And then I think back to that playoff game in Green Bay in the cold in 2020. And there was a few seconds left before the half. We were on our side of the field. Did Bruce Arians worry about Tom Brady throwing a pick in a playoff game? No, he threw a bomb to Scotty Miller and took a 2-touchdown lead going into the half. That's the difference in play calling. That's the difference in coaching.
Yep. And, like I said, Bruce Arians is his own guy, and so is Todd Bowles, but one got it done and one doesn't. Now this is Todd's second attempt. And I like Todd Bowles. I think he's a great defensive coordinator, but
sure,
just doesn't appear that he can get it done as a head coach. And I don't know. I just feel like, man, this is going to be a season if they don't manage to get into the playoffs, which I'm not convinced that they're going to make the playoffs, even though they're in this terrible division. And if they do, like Evan brought up, do you think they could beat anybody? Could they beat the Commanders
this week? No way. And you got to think about, like everybody says the NFC is trash. Most of it is, but the people that are going to be in the playoffs, they're not. You got the Eagles are 10-1, 9-1. Minnesota's lost 2 games. They're playing their butt off. And then you got all these other teams. The whole NFC East will beat us right now. The Cowboys will beat us if they play us right now. The Commanders will beat us if they play us right now. The Giants will beat us if they play us right now. It's sad, but it's just the way it is. And it's because of leadership. 100%. I'm sorry. But like I said earlier, and I'm so proud of that analogy that I just popped up earlier, but and nobody steal it because I'm going to tweet it next week. But we have Todd Bowles is a bouncer. He's not Dalton. That's it. That's the analogy. I can't put it any more perfectly.
Yeah. It's just a shame. The season's not over yet. There's a lot of football still to be played, but this is going to be one that Bucs fans are going to look back on and be like, man, what could have been if only Bruce would have been, the head coach that year. But who knows? I mean, maybe they have a storybook ending where just everything clicks at the right time. I thought that was what was going to happen after that Germany game. You get the bye week, you regroup, and then I figured they were just going to steamroll because they got an easy schedule. San Francisco, I think, is their toughest game, in the last few games. The rest are,
Bengals are playing good right now. Again, they're starting to click up. So,
well, right now there is nobody that I'm going to say, yep, Bucs are guaranteed to beat this team. I'm looking forward to the Saints game. It's a huge game. It's a divisional game. They better win that game because if they don't, oh boy. I mean, Atlanta could very well lose too, but who knows? I mean, Carolina might win and then they could jump up. It's so crazy, and it's just so sad watching this team struggle like that because on paper they are a contender. They're Super Bowl bound on paper.
They have Tom Brady. They got Mike Evans, 2 Hall of Famers. Like Tom Brady would be a first ballot Hall of Famer. Mike Evans might be at the end of his career. I mean, it's ridiculous what they got going on. They have They have stars on both sides of the field. They should be at least slightly above average. We shouldn't be going, oh man, I'm not sure if they could beat the Saints. And the Saints are garbage. You know what I mean? So it's like, what the hell's going on? You know, that's why I said I'm done being upset. At this point, I'd just throw my hands up. And I thought about this yesterday too. My wedding is popping off almost exactly when the coin flip is happening with the Bucs and the 49ers in San Francisco. And I remember we set the wedding date before the schedule was released. Obviously, I would never set a wedding date during a Bucs game, but the game is going to be 4:30. The wedding starts at 4. I've been like this whole time for the last several months going, oh man, I can't believe I'm going to miss the game. And I thought about it yesterday. I go, I don't think I even want to watch that game. I would rather, if they win, that'd be great. But I'd rather just hear about it, later, like, after the reception. Somebody goes, by the way, the Bucs beat the 49ers. And I'd be like, no way. I have to go look at the highlights. But I don't even want to think about it during the wedding. I don't want to worry about it. The last thing I need is to be having, the happiest day ever, marrying my best friend and my soulmate, and then be looking at my phone going, oh, God, I can't believe it. We're down 14. Oh, God. They just threw a pick or they just fumbled the ball. This team, they don't deserve that. They don't deserve my attention during my wedding. And now I'm like, that's fine. I don't even care about that game because I expect us to get stomped. So that's fine.
Yeah. It's so sad, but who knows? Who knows? Maybe the storybook ending will come. I'm not optimistic about that, but who knows? You still got Tom Brady back there. As long as you got Tom Brady back there, there's always a little bit of hope.
I'll still be there rooting them on and tweeting out my displeasure, but I'm not going to let it ruin my life. And that's the way I felt when I canceled my season tickets when Dirk Cutter was the coach, and I felt like that franchise didn't want to win. I don't feel like the Glazers don't want to win. I just feel like they put all their eggs in a basket that probably isn't going to be able to pull it off. So it is what it is. We got to ride it out.
True that, man. Well, Paul Dudley wants to know what Buck isn't going to show up. You said Godwin wasn't going to show up yesterday on Bone Fantasy Live. Which one won't show up next week?
I could not have been more wrong about the Bucs game and the Bone Fantasy Live, which is like the pregame show on the Bone that I do. Somebody asked me it was a flex question. They had 3 players. They had Chris Godwin, and they had like Gibson for the Commanders, and they had I think Tyler Lockett for Seattle, and they could only start 2 of the 3. And I was like, look, I want Godwin to have a good day, but he's only had a touchdown all year. So if you're going with that, I think Mike Evans is going to have a bigger day. He's going to be matched up against a rookie, and he's got milestones to hit. Tom Brady likes to hit his receivers when they need to hit milestones. On paper, it looked like Mike Evans is going to be the key guy. And I just said until Godwin shows me something else. And then he did. He proved me wrong yesterday. He had, I think, 14 catches. He lit it up. Mike Evans was targeted 9 times, only caught 2 balls for like 35 yards. So I couldn't have been more wrong. I also said on the defensive side of the ball, I expected great things out of Antoine Winfield Jr. He ended up getting hurt, was in the tent, with a possible concussion for half the game. So I was way off base. I also said the Bucs are going to win 23-10. I was wrong. So yeah, sorry about that. And yeah, DFS, I suck. I stopped putting the Johnny B Show FanDuels up, and because it's kind of winding down, fantasy season and all that. And honestly, I haven't won a single one this year. I'm just bleeding, and I feel like there's only about 10 listeners out of the 25 that are even in it. It's a bunch of spam bots beating us every week. And so I have been playing the Sunday Millions, and I'm garbage. I can't figure it out. Who knew stupid Josh Jacobs would be the best fantasy player yesterday? He had like 300 yards. Like, what is going on?
Whoever won that Sunday Million knew. That's for dang sure.
Some robot, I'm telling you. It doesn't even matter.
Yeah.
Michael Francis says you guys should push for a Bucks post game show. The meltdowns would be epic. I mean, we should push for any airtime, Michael.
Right now, yeah.
I mean, we're doing what we can. We're talking to you on Facebook, Mike.
Yeah,
buddy.
I was looking at the the upcoming schedule. I'm like, oh, we're off that day, and it just so happens that these days, I figured some of them would end up on Tampa Bay Lightning games. Like, oh, Friday's usually a day where there's a Lightning game. Nope, not this week. It's Monday, Tuesday, Thursday for some reason. So that's why we're only on Wednesday night. I'll be out of town Friday. And then the following week, Friday will be off because of your wedding. And then it's got another funky schedule with Lightning games. Christmas week doesn't really matter anyways. Nobody's going to be there. So those will be replays. But it makes it kind of easy for me because I don't have to put in a bunch of replays like I usually have to, like a week's worth. But it still just stinks. So I don't know. Maybe we'll try to do another one of these tomorrow night. I got to try to find another way to make money though, because I'm not.
Me too.
Night, and I still have bills coming in, so I don't know. I got approved for Amazon Flex. I think I'm gonna try to do that maybe tomorrow, but we'll see. I don't know. The freaking pickups are. I'm in St. Petersburg. Most of the pickups are in Sefner. I'm not driving to Sefner.
Oh, that's close to me, baby.
Well, you should look at that. Look at that. You get some exercise, get to walk around, drop off some packages, and make a few bucks.
I got to tell you, I thought about it like a year ago, and this was, me at 90, actually I was over 100 pounds heavier a year ago. And I was looking into doing that. And then I was reading the reviews, and the second review I saw from employees of Amazon Flex, the guy goes, yeah, my second delivery, I had to go up 3 flights of stairs and deliver a big screen TV to an apartment complex. And I was like, nah, that ain't for me, bro.
Yeah.
I ain't doing that.
You get a whopping $54 if you do that.
Well, really? You get more money when you go upstairs?
I don't know. I will say some of the routes do pay more. Maybe that's for the heavier stuff, or the ones that I've seen have been like $50 for 3 hours, which isn't terrible, I guess. But then you got to factor in your gas. And, gas is expensive. Now, my car doesn't use a lot of gas, but at least, I don't know, $5-6 would probably go into my gas tank.
Yeah. I told you last week, the guy that scared the hell out of me, I think he was like a flex driver because he wasn't in uniform. He was in a minivan. The guy that was like talking on his phone at my front door, dropping off a package.
Oh,
that was the weirdest thing ever. I'm in the kitchen, just kind of, cleaning or whatever I was doing. And I just hear,
yeah.
I'm like, okay, I guess they're fighting in my front yard. I don't know what's going on. So I ran there and looked out the window, and he was walking back to his van. I was like, what the hell is this? Yeah, it was weird.
Yeah, Michael says you got to check your insurance too. Yeah, I'm not. I'm just gonna assume that it does, and maybe that will be a bad decision on my end, but can't afford more insurance than what I already got. So you just gotta, I guess, kind of hope and pray that nothing happens where you will need your insurance. That's what I'm gonna do. It's the American way.
I might start street performing on the nights that we're not on the air. Just go somewhere where they'll let me get out there and what do they call it? Bus? What is it? Bustle it? What is a term for a street performer? I know it. Something. What is it?
A busker, right?
I think something like that. Yeah. Let us see. Street performer is called
person who entertains in a public space for donations, a busker.
Yeah, I'll be busking on our nights off, and I'll just tweet out, hey, I'll be out here busking for you folks on this corner. Please come out and enjoy my entertainment. What do you think?
I mean, I think it's as good a thing as any. I mean, you'll probably make more money doing that than I will from Amazon Flex.
Yeah, and I don't have to carry any TVs upstairs or anything. I don't want to do that.
True that. I don't think I could even do that because I got a little tiny car, so I don't even think I can put TVs in my load.
Don't they have where you can borrow like an Amazon van or something and drive it around? Or I don't know how it works.
I don't know. To my knowledge, this is going to be a thing where that I just use my own personal vehicle
No.
And I go to a place, they give me stuff, and then I guess they map it out for you, and then it's a GPS. They tell you where to go. You got to take a picture of the drop off, and then you get back in your car and drive away and go to the next delivery. It's like hour shifts or something.
Very nice. Did you want to do any meltdowns or anything like a normal Monday before we go? Or
I mean, my meltdown, I already gave it away. I should have kept it. Was the freaking bone not putting up a birthday post? It really hurt my feelings.
Sorry, man.
I even thought about telling John about it, John Predator about it. I mean, that's impotent signaling. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'd be like, well, sorry, I don't know what to tell you. And I'd be like, yeah, well, it just hurt my feelings, just so you know.
Oh
so,
boy,
that was a waste of time.
Yeah, you don't want that. Don't do that.
Yeah.
What if that gets back to somebody, on another show? Like, was Will crying because they didn't give him a treat?
Yeah, I was. It hurt my feelings. How about that?
I mean, yeah, you have the right to feel bad. My feelings are hurt for you.
Should I not feel bad about that?
A little bit. Yeah.
Got one. No disrespect to Dizzy at all. I'm just saying Dizzy
got one. JR got one. Trying to think.
Everybody.
Pretty much everybody's gotten one. Yeah.
Everybody gets one, but me. So
I told you the 5-year anniversary thing. Like, I never got anything for that. And then I saw Monica. They got her like her own monogrammed M&Ms, that had her name on them, and they had a party for Hoppy. He was like dancing around, having a Hoppy party. All these people, nothing. I didn't even get an email.
I think it's just the curse of the nighttime. No matter who you are, you're the afterthought. No matter what. Dizzy is with Roger and JP, answering phones during the daytime.
Sure,
so
yeah, that makes sense.
Kind of sneaks in, but it's just after 6 p.m. It's just you're off in the wasteland. You should just be happy to be here. And now we're not even there a good majority of the time. So
that's okay.
It's just our lot in life, I suppose.
What are you gonna do?
I can't wait. I wish I had a crystal ball. I wish I had a crystal ball to see what's gonna happen. It might end up bad, but it might end up really good. I just make my list. That's all I can do. Mental notes up here of who has wronged me and who has been good to me over a period of time. And as a spiteful and petty human being from time to time, that's bad news for people who have wronged me.
Absolutely. Well, if you want to write Will, make sure you go to willsyoutube.com and subscribe, and also go to youtube.com/Johnny B Show and subscribe to both of those on YouTube. Because just like Michael said, you need 1,000 YouTube subscribers to get monetized. And there you go. Now you're helping everybody out. So go do that. And it's much appreciated. Also, follow and interact on Instagram, Johnny B Tampa, and home_made_man. And of course, Will's the same on Twitter, and I am Johnny B Comedy, even if Apple takes away my Twitter.
They might, man. Supposedly Elon's going to drop some Twitter files about, I guess, some censorship that Twitter was involved in.
Oh, I'm sure.
He's getting threatened currently by Apple to have Twitter removed from the App Store due to, I don't know, I guess people just saying what they think on his platform. No, that's a no-no. Not allowed to do that. The White House came out today and said they're keeping an eye on it about misinformation. Of course, that's going on Twitter now that Elon is in control of it. So I can't wait to see that. It's going to be stuff we go, yeah, I know. But it'll be nice to just know and be like, it's public record now. It's all out there. You can go to it. You can click on it. You can share it with other people. Not that it's going to make any difference. People have already made up their minds of what side of the divide they're on. And it doesn't matter what you show them. It's not going to change their minds. So, but it'll still be nice. Just be like, now I knew, but now I know. And that's
absolutely. Gonna be Did you want to, are we going up to 10 o'clock like normal? Is that what we're doing?
Well, it depends. What do you want to do?
I mean, I can. I mean, it's flying right by. We've done an hour and a half already with no commercials, which is wild. Did you want to give a chance for a listener to pop on with us? Maybe throw the link out there into the chat. If somebody wanted to hop in, we could do a little fan interaction to wrap up the show or something.
All right. I'm going to put the link in the YouTube and the Facebook pages right now. So all you got to do is click on that link. I would ask you, if you don't mind, if you come in here, don't curse, because actually you can on this one. It doesn't matter. It's just going to be, it's not going to Radio St. Pete. So if you want to, I would rather you prefer you didn't, but if you feel the need, I guess you can go ahead. So all you got to do is click that link and you'll jump into the waiting room. If anybody wants to do that, I don't know. We got Tommy here. We got Michael Francis. We got, who else? Got
There's
Paul
probably a ton of hot whores that just aren't in the chat,
Debbie Bruto.
Oh, see, just like I said, you know what I mean? So, yeah, feel free if you want to hop in. It's our way of, taking your phone call basically. But, you could always hop in and leave your camera off and just talk too, if you don't want us to see your dirty trailer or wherever you're living.
Yeah, I totally get that. I totally understand. So, nobody yet. Everybody's shy.
That's fine.
Bellies. So
right now the Lightning are down 5-4 with a minute left. Will 4-on-4 after a brawl broke out. Boy, a brawl broke out. By the way, Finn Dave 3 is listening. Glad you're feeling better, buddy. He had his gallbladder yanked out over the weekend. Oh. Yeah. So he's ripped it right out of his belly button. He's took it from him. So
you don't need your gallbladder, huh?
No, I had mine taken out in 1998.
What your gallbladder just does something with like digestion or something?
Yeah, I think it filters out some bowel or something like that, So it'll make your poops a little different, but I was happy to get mine out. I was having like really bad heartburn and abdominal pains, and I finally had like a gallbladder attack. And it was 1 year, almost exactly a year after I had my appendix taken out in 1997. And I thought, like maybe it was something that went wrong from that surgery that was affecting me a year later. And the pain was so bad. I thought I was having a heart attack. Like my entire chest and abdomen were hurting so bad that I was screaming in pain. I went into the hospital and yeah, they were like, your gallbladder, it's a gallbladder attack. And then they gave me some medicine to calm it down. And they told me if I lost 75 pounds, they could do it laparoscopically. If not, they're going to have to open me wide open. It will be a way longer recovery and all that. So I went on a liquid diet for 3 months and lost 75 pounds in 1998 and got the gallbladder surgery and met Zane's mom and then gained all the weight back and like an extra 100 pounds on top of it. Yep, pretty good.
So I was just looking it up. I don't know if I've ever looked up what a gallbladder actually does. I knew it was one of those things that you didn't need, like your
appendix.
Like appendix, or you could
spleen,
one kidney, a spleen.
Yeah,
you don't need. Do you have to take any sort of supplements, because it says that it helps with digestion, like fatty stuff? So what happens if you don't have that bile?
I think you're supposed to. Actually, there's 2 minutes left in it. You're supposed to take. I'm supposed to take supplements for all kinds of crap, that I've been through, and nobody does. Nobody takes their supplements. I got.
Is it a prescription or a supplement?
Supplements, yeah. They never told me I had to take like a prescription medicine for it, and honestly, like since I've been, the last several months since I've been eating way better, I don't have problems like I used to have. I used to have all kinds of digestive, all kinds of IBS and everything else, and I'm good. I'm good to go now, bruh. Not a lot. Like I was going and getting I had a CT scan 2 years ago because I thought I had like colon cancer. I was having such bad IBS, and it was like really, really bad. And I was just eating the wrong stuff, man. I was eating like an a-hole, and now look at me. I'm fine. Everything's good, and I can eat spicy food again. I eat spicy food every meal now. Every meal. As a matter of fact, I'm making homemade green hot sauce. It's on my stove right now. I got to wait till it cools off so I can get my immersion blender out there. But I'm trying to copycat the green dragon sauce from Trader Joe's, and I'm going to work on it. But it's, tomatillos, cilantro, and jalapeno, and I'm onions and garlic, and I'm going to get it all down. I got to add some vinegar and season it up. And then I'm going to emulsify it and make it into this thick hot sauce. But it's going to be spicy, like the air was spicy when I was cooking it, and I can do that now because I'm fine. I'm fine, man.
So it's just essentially it makes you not have diarrhea after you eat fried chicken. But I have diarrhea after I eat fried chicken. And I have my gallbladder, so I don't.
I don't know. I
wonder
mean,
what the benefits of like yank it out. If I can get somebody to yank it out, it doesn't seem like I need it. It's doing me any good.
yeah, if you're older, the older you get, the more you're going to get diarrhea when you eat fried food. That's just the way it is. Ooh, Lightning tied it up with less than a minute to go. It's 5-5 Lightning, everybody. I'm giving you updates because I don't want the company to be like, why are you taking people away from the game? Why are you doing that? That was my John Brennan impression. Nailed it, right?
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's like
what's going on? Why are you doing that?
Wow,
Not a team player at all. Michael Francis says dumping is a bitch. I wonder if he had gastric bypass, because that's something that happens when you have gastric bypass. There's something that called dumping syndrome. You ever heard of that, Will?
It sounds like it has something to do with poo.
Well, it can. What happens is when you're only using a quarter of your intestine, if you eat something that's real heavy in sugar or sweet, and sometimes it won't affect you, and sometimes it will. It's really, there's no rhyme or reason, but it's called dumping syndrome because your body wants to dump it, and it's either going to go out one end or the other. You're either going to throw up or you're going to make poo-poo real fast. Mm-hmm. And until that happens, sometimes you won't do either. You'll just feel horrible. You'll get heart palpitations, sweaty, dizzy, nauseous. It's a horrible feeling. And you go through it just for a little while. It usually passes after like 20 minutes, but man, it sucks. So I don't get that anymore either because I don't really eat sugar. So we're good.
Yeah, that's good. Well, all right, I gotta head out now. I gotta get this podcast up, audio only at HMB Radio on Spotify, iTunes. I'm gonna put this up right now. I'm gonna send you a copy, Johnny, so you can put this on your YouTube, Johnny.TV. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's I believe if you go youtube.com/Johnny B Show. But the channel is called Johnny B TV. It's my newest channel. I got less than 100 subs. So trying to build it up. I'll be dropping some stand-up on there. And, of course, these live streams, we're going to kind of cross-pollinate when we do these live streams, like sharecast them, but also the videos and all that. So we can get it all out there for you fine folks. You want to support us? All you got to do is subscribe to Will's YouTube and to Johnny B TV. You subscribe to both, man. You love us. So love us, for God's sakes, man.
Very, very appreciative. I have got a few subs since we started this one. So maybe we'll try to do this tomorrow, depending on my Amazon Flex schedule. If not, I'll have a YouTube video up at willsyoutube.com. And thanks, everybody, for tuning in. This was fun.
Yes, thank you very much. And here, I'm going to do outro music. Do you have any? You want me to do some?
You do it.
Yeah. Yeah, we already put out all the stuff. JohnnyBComedy.com for all my social media, comedy schedule, and all that. I'll be back at the Luna Lounge on December 7th for a big comedy show there in Seffner with John Jacobs and Michael Murillo. We're all going to be doing about a half-hour comedy apiece, so it's like a triple headline. I know, pretty cool. And I might bring in a guest set on that night, too. I got a bunch of young comics wanting to get some time, so I want to show them some love. And then the next night, I'll be in Winter Haven back at the Laugh Out Lounge, December 8th. It's going to be a Christmas roast. All Christmas characters roasting each other. And yours truly is the main man, Santa Claus himself. So make sure you buy tickets right now. I think it's the last day. They are on sale. If you go to the Laugh Out Lounge in Winter Haven, go check it out and get your tickets for that. So, yeah, Will, anything else you want to plug?
Home_made_man, Twitter and Instagram. I think that's it, man.
All right. Everybody have a wonderful night. Bye-bye, beeholes.
See you guys.